How I Fucked Up My Marriage and Learned Life in a Rom-Com. Hey, I'm Sarah. 32 years old, used to be married to this guy Tom, and holy shit, did I screw the pooch on that one? I'm not proud of it, but I'm not here to play the saint either. This is my side of how everything went to hell, how I left my steady, boring-ass life with Tom for a month-long fling with the hot neighbor Ryan, and how I thought I could just waltz back like some chick in a cheesy movie. Spoiler, I was fucking wrong. Tom and I had been together for 8 years, 3 dating, 5 married. We met at this backyard barbecue back in the day. I was 24 loud, a little wild, always chasing the next thrill. Tom? He was 25 quiet, a software nerd who liked his routines and his predictable little world. I liked that about him. He was my anchor when I was spinning out. He'd grill burgers while I blast music and dance around like an idiot. Opposites attract, right? We got hitched after 3 years because it felt like the thing to do. No big romantic proposal, just Tom one night going, "Hey, wanna get married?" And me shrugging, "Sure, why not?" We didn't have some fairy tale wedding either, just a small thing at the courthouse, then pizza and beer with friends. It was simple, comfortable. We got hitched after 3 years because it felt like the thing to do. No big romantic proposal, just Tom one night going, "Hey, wanna get married?" And me shrugging, "Sure, why not?" We didn't have some fairy tale wedding either, just a small thing at the courthouse, then pizza and beer with friends. It was simple, comfortable. Life after that was fine. Tom worked his ass off coding apps, or whatever the hell he did, I never really got it. I didn't have a job. Tried a few things, retail, waitressing, even some artsy Etsy side hustle, but nothing stuck. So I stayed home, kept the house from turning into a total shithole, cooked dinner most nights. We'd watch Netflix, fuck occasionally, laugh about dumb stuff. No kids, we both agreed we weren't ready, money-wise or otherwise. It wasn't glamorous, but it worked. Or so I thought. Then Ryan moved to next door. Oh man, this guy, he was something else. 28, built like he'd just stepped off the set of a Marvel flick, channeling Captain America vibes, but with a dirtier edge. Picture this, 6'2", broad shoulders that could carry the world, biceps so thick they strained his sleeves, or hell, no sleeves because he was usually shirtless. His chest was chiseled like it was carved from goddamn marble, abs so tight you could bounce a quarter off them or grate a block of cheddar if you felt like it. His waist tapered down into that perfect E shape that made you want to stare way longer than polite. And his legs? Tree trunks, solid and powerful from all those squats he probably did while smirking at himself in the mirror. Dark hair just long enough to flop over his forehead in that messy, sexy way, paired with sharp green eyes and a jawline that could cut glass. A little stubble, too enough to scream, "I don't even try, I just wake up this hot." He was a personal trainer, of course. Always outside doing some Hawkeye shit, washing his jacked up truck with suds dripping down his forearms, jogging with those long, easy strides, or banging out pull-ups on this rusty bar he bolted to his oak tree. Shirtless every damn time, sweat glistening on that superhero bod like he knew exactly what he was doing. The dude was a walking thirst trap, and I wasn't blind. At first, it was innocent, or at least I told myself it was. I'd wave from the porch, toss out a "Hey, how's it going?" Same as I did with old Mrs. Carter across the street when she watered her roses. Ryan would nod back, flash that cocky grin that showed off his dimples, and say something dumb like, "Hey neighbor, keeping the block lively?" His voice was deep, a little rough, like he'd just rolled out of bed after a night of whiskey and bad decisions. Tom didn't give a shit. He'd catch me staring out the window and smirk, "New guys to show off, huh?" Flexing for the whole damn neighborhood. We'd crack up about it over dinner, me sipping wine while Tom shoveled spaghetti into his mouth. It was a joke. A hot, harmless joke. But then I started noticing Ryan noticing me. It wasn't just waves anymore. He'd lean on the fence when I was out getting the mail, arms crossed so those biceps popped, and hit me with, "Rough day, Sarah? You look like you could use a beer." That grin again, lazy and dangerous, like he knew I'd say yes if he pushed. He'd linger, asking about my weekend, telling me some story about a client who couldn't do a push-up stupid shit, but I'd laugh too hard, feel my face heat up. I'd catch myself twirling my hair like some giddy teenager, that old spark flickering back to life, the one I hadn't felt since before Tom and I settled into our beige little routine. It was like Ryan flipped a switch I didn't even know was there, and suddenly I was waking up. Tom didn't see it coming. Hell, I didn't either, not really. But it crept up fast. I started timing my errands so I'd be outside when Ryan was grabbing the trash cans right as he'd roll in from a run, sweat-soaked and panting, or watering the half-dead petunias I planted just as he'd start scrubbing his truck. I'd toss on tighter jeans that hugged my ass, cute tank tops I hadn't worn since my 20s when I still gave a fuck about how I looked. One afternoon, I caught him eyeing me as I bent over to yank a weed, those green eyes locked on me, a smirk tugging his lips. "Nice form," he called out, voice dripping with tease. I shot back, "Yeah, well, I try," and we both laughed, but inside I was a mess, heart racing. Stomach flipping, guilt gnawing at me like a dog with a bone. It didn't stop there. One day, I dug out my old running shoes, dusty as hell, shoved in the back of the closet, and decided I'd start jogging. If you can call my awkward-ass shuffle a jog more like a waddle with ambition. Guess who was out there too? Ryan, of course, loping along like a goddamn gazelle, all effortless power and grace. He slowed down, matched my pathetic pace, and grinned. "You're killing it, Sarah," he said, all flirty, his voice low like we were sharing a secret. "Gotta start somewhere, right?" I huffed, red-faced and sweaty, but I ate it up like a dumbass. He jogged beside me, cracking jokes about my form. "Legs up, girl, you're not stomping grapes." And I'd laugh till I couldn't breathe, pretending it was just friendly banter. But it wasn't, not to me. Every time I saw him, it got worse. I'd lie in bed next to Tom, his snores rattling the room, and I'd replay those little moments Ryan's wink as he hauled groceries inside. The way his hand brushed mine when he handed me a stray sock that blew over the fence. I'd close my eyes and picture him closer, that Captain America body pressed against me, those rough hands on my skin. Then I'd snap out of it, stare at Tom's sleeping face, and feel like the shittiest wife alive. I loved Tom steady, sweet Tom who'd fixed my car and held me when my mom got sick, but Ryan was waking up this restless, hungry thing inside me I buried years ago. I'd tell myself, it's just a crush, Sarah, get over it. But then I'd see Ryan the next day, all muscle and charm, and that voice in my head would shut the fuck up. One evening, I was out pretending to check the mailbox 4th time that day, like a lunatic, and Ryan rolled up on his motorcycle. Yeah, a fucking Harley, because of course he had one. Black, loud, badass. He cut the engine, swung his leg over, and pulled off his helmet, shaking out that dark hair. "Hey, trouble," he said, smirking like he knew I'd been waiting for him. I laughed, nervous, and mumbled something about the mail being slow. He sauntered over, close enough I could smell leather and sweat, and leaned against the fence. "You ever ridden one of these?" he asked, nodding at the bike. "No," I said, too quick, my voice shaky. "You should," he replied, eyes glinting. "I'll take you some time. Wind in your hair, no rules, just you and the road." My mouth went dry. I wanted to say yes so bad it hurt, but I just nodded, muttered, maybe, and bolted inside before I did something stupid. That night, I couldn't sleep. Tom was out cold, oblivious, while I lay there wrestling with myself. Ryan was a fantasy gorgeous, reckless, everything I dreamed of when I was younger. Tom was real safe, solid, the guy who'd stick around. But safe was starting to feel like a cage, and Ryan was the key dangling just out of reach. I hated myself for it, but I couldn't stop wanting to grab it. It wasn't just the flirting. I started stalking his Instagram shirtless gym selfies, beach pics, him flexing with captions like "chasing gains, not games." Cringy but hot, I'd scroll while Tom was in the shower, hide my phone when he came out. Guilty as fuck, but I couldn't stop. Ryan was like this shiny new toy, and Tom was the same old sweatshirt I'd worn for years. Cozy, sure, but faded. Then shit got real. One Friday, Ryan invited me over for a beer. "Just a neighbor thing," he said, all casual. Tom was at some late work meeting, so I went. Big mistake. We sat on his porch, drank IPAs, talked about nothing, music, movies, how he hated suburbia. He smelled like sweat and cologne, and when he leaned in to grab my empty bottle, our hands brushed. My heart was pounding like I was 16 again. Nothing happened that night, but it was the start of me losing my damn mind. After that, I was hooked. I'd find excuses to see him borrowing a wrench Tom didn't need, asking about his stupid plants. Tom started noticing. "You're outside a lot lately," he'd say, half joking. I'd laugh it off, but inside I was freaking out. What the hell was I doing? It hit me one Saturday morning. I woke up next to Tom, his arms slung over me like always, and I felt trapped, like I was suffocating in this safe, boring life. Ryan was all I could think about, his laugh, his energy, the way he made me feel alive. I couldn't keep pretending. So I marched into the kitchen where Tom was sipping coffee, scrolling Reddit on his phone. I stood there, hands shaking, and just blurted it out. I think I have feelings for Ryan. Tom froze. What? He said like I just told him the house was on fire. I sighed, trying to keep it together. I didn't plan this, okay? It just happened. I've been hanging out with Ryan and there's this connection. I'm fucking confused, Tom. He stared at me, jaw tight. So what does this mean? You done with us? No, I said too fast. I mean, not exactly. I still love you, Tom. I do. But Ryan, he's in my head and I don't know what to do about it. I need to figure this shit out. Then I dropped the bomb. I was thinking, maybe I could spend a month with Ryan. Like, see if it's real or just some dumb crush. If it's nothing, we can fix us. Tom's eyes went wide. You're serious? Yeah, I said, nodding like an idiot. I know it's crazy, but I don't want to throw away 8 years without being sure. I don't want to wake up at 40 regretting I didn't try. He took a deep breath, and I thought he'd flip out, yell, throw something, call me a bitch. But he didn't. He just said, all right. I blinked. Wait, really? Sure, he shrugged. If that's what you need, go for it. I was stunned, relieved too. I grabbed his hand. Thank you, Tom. I know this is a lot, but I think it's the right thing for us. He pulled away, voice flat. If that's what you need. I packed a bag that afternoon, clothes, toothbrush, my favorite pillow, and told Ryan the plan. He grinned like he'd won the lottery. A month with you? Hell yeah, let's do it. I moved into his place, 3 houses down from mine and Tom's. Felt surreal, like I was playing house with a guy I barely knew. The first week was a rush. Ryan was all in cooking me breakfast shirtless, taking me on late-night drives in his truck, blasting shitty rap music. We'd fuck like teenagers, loud and messy, no worries about neighbors hearing. He'd flex in the mirror after, smirking, "You like that, huh?" I'd laugh, high on the adrenaline of it all. It was fun, wild, everything Tom wasn't. But then cracks showed up. Ryan was a slop, dishes piled in the sink, gym clothes everywhere. He'd blow off plans to hang with his brothers, leaving me alone in his messy-ass house. One night, he got wasted and started ranting about his ex, how she screwed him over. I sat there thinking, what the fuck am I doing? He wasn't deep, he was a kid in a man's body, chasing thrills like I used to. By week 3, I was over it. The sex was still good, but the shine was gone. I'd catch myself missing Tom, the way he'd make me coffee without asking, how he'd listen when I rambled about dumb shit. Ryan didn't give a fuck about my day. He'd just nod, scroll his phone, wait for me to shut up so we could bang again. One night, I couldn't sleep. Ryan was sprawled out next to me, passed out cold, snoring like a fucking chainsaw on steroids loud, grating, rattling the cheap headboard of his shitty bed. I just lay there, flat on my back, staring at the ceiling of his cluttered-ass room. Popcorn plaster, a spiderweb crack in the corner, a flickering streetlight sneaking through the blinds. It wasn't even my ceiling. That hit me hard. I missed my bed, the one with the lumpy mattress Tom and I had laughed about replacing for years. I missed my house, the creaky stairs, the coffee stain on the living room rug from that time I tripped during a fight about bills. I missed Tom. Holy shit, I missed Tom so much it felt like a punch to the gut. I fucked up big time. Like, colossal, life-ruining, what the hell was I thinking fucked up? Ryan was a fantasy, a shiny, muscle-bound distraction with his flirty grins and superhero bod. He was the guy I'd have drooled over at 22, back when I thought life was all about chasing thrills and hot hookups. But Tom? Tom was real, stable. Home, the guy who'd sit through my rants about nothing, who'd make me scrambled eggs at midnight when I couldn't sleep, who'd loved me even when I was a mess. And I'd thrown it all away for a month of playing house with a dude who couldn't even remember to buy toilet paper. I started crying, quiet as hell, so Ryan wouldn't wake up and ask what was wrong. Fat chance he'd probably just roll over and fart in his sleep. Tears slid down my cheeks, soaking into a scratchy pillowcase that smelled like gym socks and cheap cologne. I pressed my hand over my mouth, biting back sobs, because right then it hit me like a freight train. I had to go back. I couldn't keep doing this pretending I was some free spirit badass who could fuck around and figure it out later. That wasn't me. Maybe it never had been. The month wasn't even up 3 days left on my stupid little experiment, but I didn't give a shit. I was done. Done with Ryan's late night gym stories, done with his protein shakes stinking up the fridge, done with the way he'd look at me like I was just another conquest to flex about. I waited till dawn, watching the room turn gray, then slipped out of bed while he was still dead to the world. Packed my shit in 10 minutes, flat jeans, tops, that ratty hoodie I'd stolen from Tom years ago. I shoved it all into my duffel, hands shaking, heart pounding like I was making a jailbreak. Found a scrap of paper on his cluttered counter, scribbled a note in Sharpie. Thanks for everything, but this isn't me. Take care. Didn't even sign it. Left it by his keys, grabbed mine, and bolted. I didn't go straight home. Couldn't face Tom yet not with my puffy eyes and runaway wife baggage. So I drove to my friend Jess's place instead, 40 minutes across town in her shitty apartment complex with the broken gate. She answered the door in pajamas, hair a mess, squinting at me like, "What the fuck, Sarah?" I didn't even say hi, just dropped my bag and started bawling again. "I fucked up, Jess," I choked out. I fucked up so bad. She didn't ask questions, just pulled me inside, shoved a beer in my hand, and let me crash on her couch. God bless her. I stayed there 2 days, hiding out like a coward, trying to piece together what the hell I'd say to Tom. I rehearsed it in my head 100 times, pacing Jess's tiny living room till she told me to sit my ass down. "I'm sorry, Tom," I'd start, voice cracking in my imaginary script. "I was an idiot, a selfish, stupid idiot, and I don't deserve you. But I love you and I'll do anything to fix this." I'd beg if I had to, get on my knees, promise therapy, promise to burn every pair of running shoes I owned. I pictured his face, those steady brown eyes, the little frown he'd get when he was hurt but didn't want to show it. He'd listen, right? He'd have to. 8 fucking years of date nights, road trips, dumb inside jokes about his terrible dance moves. That's not nothing, he'd take me back. He had to. Jess wasn't so sure. She sat me down that second night after I polished off half her wine stash and gave me the hard truth. "Sarah, babe, you left him for another guy. Like, packed a bag and moved out. That's not a fight about dishes, that's some next level shit. You sure he's just gonna let that slide?" I waved her off, tipsy and stubborn. "He loves me, Jess. He'll be pissed, yeah, but we've got history. He's not gonna throw that away over one mistake." She raised an eyebrow, sipped her wine, and muttered, "If you say so." I ignored the pit in my stomach, the little voice whispering she might be right. By day 3, I couldn't stall anymore. I showered, borrowed Jess's mascara to look halfway human, and drove back home rehearsing one last time in the rearview mirror. "I'm sorry, Tom, I fucked up. Let me make it right." My hands were sweaty on the wheel, my chest tight, but I told myself it'd be okay. 8 years, that's a foundation, not a fling. I pulled into the driveway, saw Tom's car parked like always, and took a deep breath. Time to face the music. I walked back into our house. Tom was on the couch watching some dumb action movie. I dropped my bag by the door, tried to play it cool. "Hey, I'm back." He barely looked up. "Welcome back." Weird vibe, but I sat next to him anyway. "We should talk." He muted the TV. "All right, talk." I took a breath, put on my best smile. I've done a lot of thinking. Figured some shit out about me, about us. I care about you, Tom. I want to work through this. Rebuild what we had. He didn't say anything, just stared. "Ryan's great," I went on, "but he's not what I need. He's fun, sure, but immature as hell." "You're solid, Tom. We've got history." "That means something." "Uh-huh," he said, flat as fuck. I kept going, nervous now. I know I fucked up. I hurt you. But I think we can get past this. We're stronger than one stupid mistake. He stood up, walked to the kitchen, came back with a stack of papers, and dropped them on the table. "What's this?" I asked, smile fading. "Divorce papers," he said, like he was ordering a pizza. I laughed, thinking it was a joke. "You're kidding." "Nope." My stomach dropped. "You're divorcing me?" "Yeah," he said, calm as hell. "I'm not your second choice, Sarah." I lost it. Second choice? That's bullshit. I was confused, Tom. I needed time to figure my shit out. He didn't flinch. "And you figured it out by fucking another guy. You left me, walked out on us. Now you're back because Ryan's a dud. What, you thought I'd just sit here waiting?" I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. He was right, and I hated it. What am I supposed to do now? I whispered. "Not my problem," he said. "You made your bed. Lie in it." I grabbed my bag and stormed out, tears burning my eyes. The divorce went through fast. I tried to fight it, played the poor me card with friends, but Tom didn't budge. He was done cold, final, no looking back. I crashed with Jess for a while, then got a shitty apartment downtown. Started waitressing again, barely scraping by. Saw Ryan around town once, he waved like nothing happened. Asshole. Months later, I ran into Tom at the grocery store. He looked good fitter, sharper, like he'd leveled up while I was still a mess. I waved, weak and awkward. He nodded, walked past. That was it. Looking back, I fucked up everything. I had a good guy, a real life, and I threw it away for a dumb crush. Thought I could have my cake and eat it too, but life's not that generous. Tom wasn't my backup plan, he was my fucking foundation, and I didn't see it till it was gone. I don't blame him for walking away. I'd have done the same. Still stings though. Well, that's it, y'all, my crazy, messed up story. Thanks for sticking with me through all the drama, the tears, and the dumbest decisions. Life's a bitch sometimes, huh? If you vibed with this roller coaster, hit that subscribe button. We're so close to 1K, and I'd love for you to be part of it. Drop a comment to tell me what you think, or if you've ever fucked up this bad and bounced back. See you in the next one, take care, and don't do anything I did, alright? Peace out.